Então, vocês já bem-vindo todo mundo, né? Vocês já foram introduzidos recentemente, nós tivemos um encontro em que a gente conversou sobre a fundação, sobre o background do Ācarya, sobre o Malini Vidyayottara Tantra, que vai ser o texto que ele vai ensinar para nós esse semestre, né? E, bom, repetindo um pouco do background dele, né? Ele cresceu numa família de panditas, né, no Nepal, num Gurukulam, teve toda a educação clássica do Pandita, é iniciado em um Ācarya pela tradição do Sarvamnaya, que é o Tantra Nepali, que reúne todos os Amnayas, todas as transmissões tântricas, né, Shaiva Shaktas. E, além de toda a sua formação tradicional, ele também veio a ter formação acadêmica no Ocidente, eventualmente na sua vida, quando ele teve que emigrar do Nepal e hoje vive, né, em San Diego, na Califórnia, e começou recentemente essa instituição, a Vimarsha Foundation, como uma tentativa de, né, preservar, transmitir, né, os Shastras e a tradição. Então, basicamente, essa toda a apresentação que eu vou fazer hoje. E só um comentário, talvez ele vai falar algo, mas ali atrás dele é um dos altares da casa dele, e talvez ele nos mostre isso depois. Ele tem outro maior fora da casa, né, mas, enfim. Então, eu agradeço bastante a presença de todo mundo, para honrar a presença dele e que seja proveitoso para todos. Your turn, Ācarya. Feel free. And I will be just sitting and listening today. Denise will be doing the translation.
Just a note, I'm not used to make this kind of translation, so maybe I'm not be able to translate all the sentences. And if you please, I know I can understand what you talk, and maybe I will make a synthesis after you talk. So if anyone, please can help me after that. If I miss something, please. Thank you. Obrigada. Se vocês puderem, né, perceberem alguma falha na tradução, por favor, podem ajudar, agradeço. Vou tentar, muito obrigada. Thank you, Ācarya.
I will start with the benediction. Taruna Ravi Nivasyam Simha Prishto Pavistam Kuchabharanamithangim Sarvabhusha Abhiramam Abhayavarada Ekavakram Trinetram Mada Mudita Mukhabjam Kubjikam Chintayami. This is a visualization of a goddess, Kubjika.
Ele começou com uma bênção, né, uma visualização da deusa Kubjika.
Kubjika is the primary goddess of the Tantrikas in most ancient time, and there are extremely very few people, counting in hand actually, who have traditional training in the practice of Kubjika.
Ela é a deusa primária dos sistemas tântricos desde tempos antigos, né? E se pode contar nos dedos quantas pessoas seguiram essa tradição. Realmente muito poucas pessoas.
The visualization I shared with you is the easiest one, the most simple one. And in this visualization, she's a young goddess riding a lion with two hands, showing a gesture of no fear and giving boons, like that type of gesture.
Essa visualização que eu trago para vocês é uma das mais simples, né? A deusa numa forma jovem, numa pose com dois gestos, né? Que é um não tema e o outro, desculpa, eu perdi.
As you know, most of the tantric deities have so many hands and many heads.
Então, vocês sabem que nas deusas tântricas, elas têm muitas mãos, né, muitos braços, muitas cabeças.
I was teaching this.
Ah, é o Timalsina, primo.
I was teaching this meditation to my 10-year-old cousin a month ago, and he just looks at me, just 2 hands. He was just so disappointed. What kind of goddess is she with only 2 hands? And I said, no, it is just the beginning, and then she will have many hands later. And then he says, oh, that makes sense.
Então, ele estava ensinando essa meditação para um sobrinho, para um primo dele, desculpe, e ele olhou assim com espanto, assim, como assim uma deusa com somente 2 mãos, né? Ele se espantou com aquilo. Aí ele disse que depois, não se preocupe, que depois ela vai aparecer com muitas mãos. Né?
So this is also, I mentioned that because to show little gap of culture, you know, like how in the Western culture, these many hands can be confusing. But in the Hindu culture, just 2 hands was very confusing. She's just like a human. How am I going to meditate upon her?
Então, o que ele diz é que para a cultura hindu, né, o fato de ter muitas mãos faz parte da cultura, é simples, né? Mas cultuar uma deusa com apenas 2 mãos parece muito estranho, porque fica muito parecido com um humano, apenas com 2 mãos, né? Então, a diferença entre a cultura ocidental e a cultura hindu.
I am not going to introduce myself today. Most of you have heard about me. I do not fly. If you have heard any of those, that's a lie. But anyway, I'm just a teacher here. And we have started this Vimarsha. I would like to, I know many of you are involved internally, and it will be repetition, but there are few new people, so we have to let them know. The idea of Vimarsha is to share ancient wisdom to people anywhere in the globe who are interested to learn.
Ficou bem longo para mim isso aqui, mas assim, ele disse que não vai se apresentar hoje, né, porque já é conhecido da maioria de todos aqui. Ele é somente um professor, por acaso ele não voa, se é que alguém ouviu isso, né, por aí, ele não voa, e ele vai falar sobre a tradição de marcha, aí, desculpa, aí no final eu perdi um pouquinho.
Que a ideia da Vimarsha Foundation é transmitir a sabedoria antiga para as pessoas. Só um detalhe, a Denise, dá uma olhada no seu WhatsApp também, rapidão. Okay.
Oi?
Dá uma olhada no seu WhatsApp, rapidão também, por favor.
So, after teaching for 20 years in the West and 10 years in Nepal, one thing I realized is the traditional teaching modes, old Gurukula styles, are now limited to practice only. And modern institutions are limited to teaching only, words only, ideas, theories only, no practice. I just realized that people need something different where they can learn both theory and practice. Vimarsha is for that.
O que ele observa hoje, que a maioria das tradições das escolas, né, depois de estudar 20 anos no Ocidente, no Nepal, algo que ele percebeu é que os modos tradicionais de ensinamento, né, nos modelos antigos de Gurukula, estão limitados agora somente à prática. E que as instituições modernas são dedicadas a ensinar apenas as ideias, né? E o que ele percebeu é que as pessoas precisam de algo diferente, onde as pessoas possam aprender ambos.
So, This is a dream that has just started. It is not some established forum. We will make mistakes. We will learn from our mistakes. You have to know we are just starting and we are learning every step of the way. The only resources or support we have from behind the scene, I have brought to the scene, are these two persons who are helping me. One is Kali hanging and another is Lord Shiva. These are the only two people behind me who are helping.
Esse é um sonho que ele apenas começou, né? Nós vamos cometer enganos, vamos aprender nos nossos erros. Você sabe que nós estamos apenas começando. Nossos únicos recursos de apoio que temos por trás da cena são duas pessoas me ajudando, Kali e Lord Shiva. Kali e o Senhor Shiva. Essas são as únicas pessoas que estão atrás de mim, né? Que estão por trás de mim, que estão me ajudando.
I know many of you will have questions. I am not prepared to give some big lecture today. I will just introduce a bit of why Malini Vijaya, why I chose this course. And then I will just say one or two words about how to engage in this course. And then I'll open for a conversation, question, answer, because that's what I had promised to Danilo, that if you are shy, you can at least ask if I already had my lunch, you know, but you can ask anything. So I will just first tell you a little bit on Malini, and then I will let you ask questions.
Ele sabe que muitos de vocês, né, vão ter perguntas, e ele não está preparado para dar uma grande palestra hoje. Ele vai apenas introduzir um pouquinho do que eu escolhi para o Malini Vijayotara Tantra e algumas poucas palavras em como se engajar nesse texto. Então, nós vamos abrir para conversação, para a conversa, que foi o que ele combinou com o Danilo, né? Aí vocês podem perguntar qualquer coisa.
There are two mantra system, tantra system, agama system is based on two different orders of alphabets.
Existem dois sistemas de mantras, né, dois sistemas de agmas, que são baseadas em duas diferentes ordens do alfabeto, Mátrica e Malini.
So, when people ask me what is the meaning of this mantra, they generally think that everything in the world is translated in correspondence, like A equals P or something like that. But mantra system is different. In it, you have to go deep down to the phonemes, alphabets, and the entire tantric structure, mansion, is based on the blueprint of those phonemes of the Matrika and Malini.
Então, quando as pessoas perguntam para mim qual que é o significado desse mantra, né? Elas normalmente pensam que tudo no mundo é traduzido, né, como uma correspondência, como A igual a B ou algo assim. Mas o sistema de mantra é diferente. Você tem que ir fundo, bem fundo nos fonemas, né? E o sistema tântrico é baseado nesses dois, Mátrica e Malini.
Sometimes the goddess is identified with Malini and Bhairavas with Matrika.
Algumas vezes a deusa é identificada como Malini, outras vezes e Bhairavas com Mátrica. Desculpa, algumas vezes...
Malini order begins with the phoneme na and ends with the phoneme pha. Matrika is the popular standard order starting from A to Ksha.
A ordem Malini começa com o fonema Na e termina com Ra, e a mátrica é popular, o padrão começa com A até Sa.
So, Vijaya, the second word, Vijaya. Vijaya is victory. The meaning of the word Vijaya is victory, victory of Malini, the victory of the mother. And it is already, Uttara is a second iteration because this is a tradition of the Purva Kaulas. And in the Purva Kaulas, you have first the Siddha Yogeshwari text, and any text composed after were called Uttara. That is how we got the Malini Vijayottara.
Então, Vijaya, que é a segunda ordem, significa vitória, a vitória de Malini, a mãe. E já é Uttara, uma segunda interação, porque essa é uma tradição dos Purva Kaulas, na qual vocês primeiro têm o texto Siddha Yogeshwari, e é tudo composto depois deste Uttara.
If you have already watched the 10-minute introductory video on YouTube, you know the basics. If you have not already watched it, I urge you, I strongly recommend that you watch it.
Se você já ouviu os 10 minutos do vídeo de introdução, né, você já vai saber um pouco disso. Se não, eu recomendo que vocês ouçam.
So I will break down a tiny bit of significance. Maybe I will be repeating myself. The most prominent of the Tantric philosopher of 11th century, named Abhinavagupta, wrote many books on Tantra to explain the Malini Vijayottara.
O filósofo mais proeminente, eu vou quebrar isso um pouquinho no significado, talvez eu vou repetir a mim mesmo, né? O filósofo tântrica mais proeminente do século XI, que escreveu muitos livros do Tantra, muitos livros sobre o Tantra para explicar Malini Vijayottara Tantra.
When my Guruji taught me this book, I started reading Tantra Loka of Abhinavagupta, and the first line I confronted there was Natad astiha yannasti Malini Vijayottare. In this magnum opus, the largest book Abhinavagupta wrote, he says in his book, there is nothing new which already does not exist in the Malini Vijayottara.
Quando meu Guruji me ensinou esse livro, eu comecei a ler o Tantra Loka do Abhinavagupta. A primeira vez que eu confrontei foi nessa obra magna, o maior livro que ele escreveu. Ele disse que nesse livro não há nada novo que já não exista no Malini Vijayottara.
So it took a little time for me first to read. When you are young, you want to climb to the top. So I would first want to understand the most difficult books, and Tantra Loka and Pratyabhigya, Vimarshini, Vibriti, Vimarshini, all the commentaries books. And then you come back like a bamboo, you come back and then read Tantra Sara, Tantra Bhattadhanika, those introductory books. And then when I went to read Malini Vijayotara, then I realized that actually all the concepts pre-existed in Malini in the seminal, in the seed form.
Levou um pouco de tempo para mim para ler, né? Porque quando a gente é jovem, você quer subir ao topo, e eu queria entender os livros mais difíceis, Tantra Loka, Pratyabhijna, e etc. E quando você volta e lê o Tantra Sara e outros livros introdutórios, então, quando eu fui ler o Malini Vijayotara, eu percebi que, na realidade, todos os conceitos já pré-existiam no Malini na forma de semente.
And then I tried to read Malini Vijayavartika, a second commentary by Abhinava Gupta in 1450 verses.
Então, quando eu tentei ler o Malini, o segundo comentário pelo Abhinava Gupta, em 450 versos,
and I cannot tell you that I have understood everything there. It's still, a lot of there is still mystery to me.
e eu não posso dizer que eu entendi tudo ali, né? Porque algumas coisas ainda é um mistério para mim, muita coisa ainda é um mistério para mim.
And these 1450 verses were only the commentary of the first verse of Malini Vijayotara.
E esses 450 versos, né, eles são somente o comentário do primeiro verso do Malini.
So I am telling you in advance that some of the things discussed may be basic, elementary, but some other things may not be very elementary.
E eu já digo de antemão que algumas coisas podem ser muito, né, algumas coisas que eu discuti podem ser básicas, elementares, mas outras não serão assim.
So there are two types of people. One type is who has to go to the top and they climb the roof of their house and they believe that they have climbed to the top. And others try to climb a very tall mountain, like in Peru or in Nepal, very tall mountain. And if they do not go to the top, still they go much, much, much higher than the roof of their house.
E existem dois tipos de pessoas, né? Um tipo que vai até o topo e eles escalam o teto de sua casa e acreditam que eles chegaram, né? Escalaram até o topo. E outros tentam escalar uma montanha muito alta e se eles vão até o topo, ainda assim eles vão muito mais alto que o teto de sua casa.
So if you are walking with me, you are not the type who is very happy to go to the roof of the house.
E se você está caminhando comigo, você não é do tipo que está muito feliz em ir até o teto da casa.
So my service is free. I'm not expecting anything in return of this knowledge. And your obligation is to let this idea survive in the world.
Então, o meu serviço ele é grátis, né, gratuito, e eu não espero nada em retorno por esse conhecimento. E a sua obrigação é garantir que essa ideia sobreviva, deixar essa ideia sobreviver.
One of my friends, just a few days back, complained to me that after some talks on Tripura Rahasya, he stopped watching because he could not follow all of the lectures. Then I asked him, did you not follow any word, or did you not follow even 50%, or did you not follow everything? And he said, I got more than 50%, but I did not get everything. And I asked him, suppose you go to a river, and if the river is giving you more water than you can fill in your jug, do you curse that river for giving you more? You take whatever you can drink, but the river should always be bigger than your jug.
Dos meus amigos, há apenas alguns dias, né, reclamou para mim que após algumas palestras, né, palestras dos Tripura Rahasya, ele parou de assistir porque ele não conseguia seguir todas as palestras. Então eu perguntei para ele, né, por que você não seguiu minhas palavras, ou nem mesmo 50%, ou nada mesmo? Ele disse que conseguiu captar mais do que 50%, mas não tudo. E aí eu perguntei para ele, né, suponha que você vá até um rio, e se esse rio está te dando mais água que você pode encher o seu cantil, né? Você amaldiçoa aquele rio por lhe dar mais, você tome apenas aquilo que você pode beber. O rio deve sempre ser maior do que o seu vaso ou seu cantil.
I am not trying to put some wrappings with shiny paper outside to sell in a big package. I'm trying to offer as it is what it is.
Eu não estou tentando colocar alguns embrulhos com papel brilhante do lado de fora, né, para vender um grande pacote. Eu estou tentando oferecer como é, o que é. A forma como é.
So there are these concepts that will demand your attention sometimes. I am not saying it will be always the case, but if sometimes some concepts are difficult, ask your friends and ask me. I am always available for question and answers.
Existem esses conceitos que vão exigir muita atenção algumas vezes. Eu não estou dizendo que vai ser sempre assim, que o caso vai ser sempre assim, mas se algumas vezes os conceitos forem muito difíceis, pergunte a seus amigos e pergunte a mim. Eu estou sempre disponível para perguntas e respostas.
In this Malini's conversation again, you can teach this book for forever. Like we can have a lifelong discourse on Malini. And in 13 lectures, of course, I cannot capture everything. I'm only capturing types of things for you to learn how many types of issues are there.
No que se refere à conversa sobre a Malini, mais uma vez eu digo, você pode ensinar esse livro para sempre. Você pode ter um discurso de uma vida toda sobre o Malini. Em 13 palestras, claro, eu não posso capturar tudo. Eu estou apenas capturando tipos de coisas para vocês aprender e quantos tipos de questões, né, estão ali.
Even then, I only address theoretical issues and briefly visualizations, but the text, if you follow closely, will have a very sustained focus on visualization afterward. And that will happen as we know each others more closely. We will discuss those other deeper aspects as we create a kula, a family, a bond. So I feel more confident discussing more.
Mesmo então, eu somente vou abordar assuntos teóricos e visualizações breves, mas o texto, se você seguir ele bem de perto, você vai ter um foco sustentado, depois disso você vai ter um foco sustentado na visualização, e que vai acontecer quando você souber cada um mais de perto, né? Então, nós podemos discutir esses aspectos se formarmos um kula. Porque, então, eu vou sim, me sentir mais confiante em discutir mais, quando a gente se conhecer mais de perto.
Initially, this even the brief conversation, it will help you ground yourself in Kashmiri Shaivism or Trika system. And if you want to jump and start reading some things in advance to make a solid foundation for yourself, you guys can find, maybe Danilo can help on it, find Tantra Sara, if there is any summary translation, anything of Tantra Sara, and that would be very helpful. At least the first 5 chapters.
Inicialmente, né, mesmo essa breve conversa vai ajudar vocês a ter uma base, né, para vocês mesmos no Shaivismo da Kashmira ou o sistema Trika. Mas se você quiser pular e começar a ler coisas à frente para fazer uma base sólida para vocês mesmos, Danilo pode ajudar vocês com isso. Talvez o Tantra Sara, que seria muito útil, pelo menos os 5 primeiros capítulos.
As you may have felt, I am already running behind to start the course. The original idea was like the university semesters begin here to start Vimarsha courses. My summer was little hectic, and even after I got the recording, one student who had promised to give me the recordings took the recording, and then after was out of communication for 3 weeks. And so we will, because that is what I mean by mistakes and learning, that we do not have a solid support system yet, and but it's just a learning and creating a group of like-minded people, and eventually soon I came back to conversation yesterday, and he has promised to give me some by this weekend, and just to give me 2 weeks, and we will at least by next week, when in the middle of the week, I hope I will be able to tell all of you or some of you what the beginning date should be, and then we'll start the course right away. But whether or not this particular course begins, I welcome you in this family little circle. And I have found immense love and home in Brazil because I have found so much of enthusiasm, desire to learn these things from among you. And that just is very inspirational to me.
Como vocês devem ter sentido, eu já estou atrasado para iniciar o curso. A ideia original era começar juntamente com o semestre universitário. O meu verão foi muito ocupado, e mesmo depois de eu ter feito as gravações, um aluno que prometeu me ajudar com isso, em obter as gravações, então ficou fora de comunicação por 3 meses. Então, nós não temos muito de um sistema de suporte ainda, mas isso se refere a juntar as pessoas, né, a agrupar. E esperançosamente, e com esperança, logo nós vamos começar isso rapidamente. Eu encontrei um amor imenso e uma casa no Brasil. Eu encontrei tanto entusiasmo e desejo de aprender essas coisas entre vocês, e isso é muito inspiracional para mim, muito inspirador para mim.
So I stop here and for your questions and answers. So let's have a conversation.
Bom, eu paro aqui agora para as perguntas e respostas.
Thank you, Ācarya. That was very nice. E se qualquer pessoa quiser fazer uma pergunta, levanta a mão, né? Vocês sabem usar esse recurso aqui no Zoom, né? E nós vamos passando a palavra para vocês. Just while they are creating courage to ask, is that your altar behind you?
Yes, I can give you a little bit of a field trip of the shrine. It's a good question. This blue guy is Bhairava, and sometimes I imagine that he talks with me. And up is the replica. This is a replica of Pashupati, cut by a traditional crystal carver from Nepal. And this is for Purva Amnaya, the image I got for Saraswati, very close to the Para. And there's also Yogini Kaula for the Adhara Amnaya. And for the generally Kubjika, we do not put the statues, we do in base. So this is the image of Durga, Chandi, and then we have the base for her worship. She is the mother, La Madre. And then, what is it for small? Chinko? She's the small mother. She's Kali in 10 heads. And again, for the Guhya Kali, we worship either in the vase. This is a traditional tantric vase. We worship in the vase, or a draw. I do not display like this, but this is okay for a student. So this is a black rock from Nepal. And this is where I draw the yantra mandala.
And how about Tripura?
Okay, also she's supposed to be up, so she's up. So you are not going to see her here. She's upstairs. And then this is again the universal form Kali. And then more Kali stuffs here, so that many people can freak out and run away when they come to my house. And you know the Shiva. This is we got 5 years ago from the river Narmada. This is he's very fat. He's 3.5 tons. 3,500 kilos fat. He's a fat guy. So this is the shrine.
Wonderful tour. Thank you very much, Ācarya.
Yeah.
So Felipe has a question. Go ahead, Felipe.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Ācarya ji. Shri Matre Namaha. I just want to say, first of all, thank you, everyone, for having me here. Thank you, Danilo, for fishing me up in another Facebook group. I was referred to Sarvanaya Tantra by a colleague of yours, Ācarya ji, Mr. Prema from Oxford. And I'm glad that I was able to at least watch the last bit of the Tripura Rahasya. And I would like to know if you could just tell us a little bit more about the Sarvanaya tradition.
In tantras, many tantric practitioners pick up one mantra and then just do purascharana, meaning many times, hundreds of thousands of times repetition, and they call sadhana, like visualization of one deity, and then do other philosophies, other readings. In Sarva Amnaya, from the very beginning, even the first initiation builds a mandala, like the basics of the mandala, and then it starts adding colors or forms in making it more and more complex. And it is the essence of all agamas. And this is not very new thing, because when they had these 4 original Shakta Pithas, Kamarupa, Purnagiri, Jalandhar, Odhyana, there were 4 separate centers where 4 different types of tantric practices originated. But since the agamic composition, meaning as early as we can go to Matsyendranatha, or the earliest of the 64 Kaula Agamas, they were already integrated there. So we worship, even if we are worshiping Tripura, we worship all 4 Pithas. So the idea is that essentially all major Pithas practices were infused very long ago to create a mandala or create some sort of all agamas collective teaching. But it was reserved to very few tantrika acharyas who were willing to give a long life of training. And then they were extremely secretive, all the way to my teachers' generation, that most of my teachers who encouraged me to study Tantra or even to open the department of Tantra, they themselves were not willing to teach for more than 4 or 5 people. Because for them it is a huge transition, and they were not really ready to accept. They realized that things need to be changed, but they were not themselves ready. And even for me, I had my Ācarya when I was 27, and till the age of 50 or even later, maybe teaching 2-3 persons who I had to just to, stay alive, like teaching my wife a little bit. I need to, because to keep my practice alive. So other than family, I just, it took 25 years after my teacher said I should teach, that I just thought that, okay, I will teach then. So it is alive among the Shakta households, but it's not an isolation of this only. Some people think this is Kubjika only, but this is not true, because if you go to Kubjika practice, and you will find within that that Kali and Trika and all these are already inside the system of Kubjika. Others think that this is the Sri Vidya only. So these are because all is not told. Actually, somebody nailed me I found it very funny. Somebody nailed me finally, like, okay, this person has written this thing about Sarvamnaya, and I think you are wrong. And I didn't correct myself because he was quoting my student, and I was not comfortable to tell him more than that. And so it is, the age is very different these days. So people believe in written things more than the oral things, because oral, for us, oral is more reliable. People could write whatever without coming through lineage, but now the time has come that it's very different. It is the book culture where you have to have things written down, and we are adjusting to this new reality.
Thank you, Ācarya ji.
That was a very nice introduction to the tradition. Anybody else? Don't be shy, people. Vamos lá, gente, pelo menos mais 2 pessoas.
And you can
Okay.
ask, yeah.
Yuri is up. Go ahead, Yuri. And Malu after.
Namaste, Ācarya ji. Namaste, everyone. Ācarya ji, I would like to know, regarding all the traditions present in Sarvamnaya, what would you say is the most complex of them, in your opinion?
Within the Sarvamnaya, the most complex.
Yes.
The complexity you get in Guhya Kali is extremely complex, but that doesn't mean that the complexity in Kubjika is any less. So just like we let students, traditionally you throw flowers and choose the Amnaya based on the blindfold and the initiation, and then you throw the flowers. And then now we let students first, after the Samaya initiation, we let them to choose the Purva or Dakshina, because after the first round of practice, they are qualified to go up to learning Trika system and Tripura system. That much is we consider like they can handle, but we consider Kubjika and Kalika as even more remote. They both have the same complexity, and in the practice of Kubjika, there is already Guhya Kubjika as a Guhya Kalike. So this is like sometimes one Amnaya incorporates the other, and then they make it by binding. They're just like it's very creative way they bind these things, and they make it, they love to make it more complex. But I'm saying from the visualization perspective and from the kuta, the complexity of the way the mantras are stacked together, Kalika is the most complex.
Felipe asked to that if the reason for the complexity are the nyasas.
Even for nyasa complexity, the nyasa in the order of Kalika is the most crazy complex. I have not been able to do all the nyasas myself. So yeah, Kalika Krama seems to be even more complex, but Kubjika is not any less complex. So it's a tough call. In Kubjika, the thing is, we can teach even the beginner some of the things. Like even my little cousin, some basic visualizations we can train in the beginning. I don't know really in the in the Uttara Amnaya Kali, I'm talking about, not the Dakshina Kali, because there are some Shyama and very easy forms to visualize, but the in the Uttara Amnaya Kali, it's very complex.
Okay, so let's move on to Malu. Go ahead, Malu.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Ācarya. Thank you for the opportunity. For me, it looks like a miracle that we are such a precious group here, talking about these topics that sincerely I never thought would be possible in this lifetime for me. I've been looking into books about mantras, about sacred sounds, trying to verbalize them, but I always thought that we needed guidance for that. Learning Sanskrit, trying to do the best about the sound, but I always thought that guidance is something that is not in the books and that is not any place. We open our hearts, and then here we have this wonderful group. So first of all, a big thank you, Ācarya, for giving us this opportunity. My question is about the Malini. Since you decided to teach us this, about this, they say everything is there, right? And I'm very, very curious to know about the order of these sounds, of these sacred, let's say, blueprints of the universe. I know how to say the order in the matrika way. So we start with the vowels, how do you say, shivit or masculine sounds? I don't know how to say that, but they're open. We don't have any obstructions in the sounds. And then comes all the consonants in the matrika orientation, right?
Yeah.
I just saw one picture of the Malini since now, and then I saw that now the vowels are mating with the feminine consonants. And I was trying to figure why that order in a circle. I saw in a circle. And I was thinking about colors. So my question would be, if you could explain a little bit about why this different order and why is it more related to the feminine, this Malini order. Okay, this is it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do not know, with all sincerity, and I'm not hiding. I'm being honest here. And I have a little guesswork, and you can also have a guesswork. Because my understanding is the Malini's phonetic order is before they even develop the concepts of the vowels and the consonants and the grouping in a scientific order. Like there is a aspirated, unaspirated ka, kha, ga, gha, and the nasal nga always at the center, nga, ya, na, ma. It's a perfectly ma, all the nasal orders in the fifth. And then you have the ya, ra, la, wa, antasta, the inner voice in the chest, sa, sha, sha, ha, the ushma, that is a palatal effect. This is a scientific structure, the best alphabetical order ever, the matrika.
Yes.
And like if you say alphabets in English, A, B, C, D, no sense there. There is no reason of why B should be second or why Z should be the last one. That is, when we are talking about Malini, we are going before the phonetic structure was even evolved. And to my knowledge, the oral tradition of mantras go for 20,000 years. I may be wrong, I will let it to historians, but my own estimation is when people from the oral tradition started some type of phoneticization, structuring, goes way before the Vedic, like Rig Veda, way before the Vedas. And Malini order, if we were to actually know this order, we have to think historically, not a remote past of 1500 years ago, that is just like picking a book and trying to make a sense based on the book, but just to go to the early infancy of the phonetic development of the human vocal cord recognition of the phonemes. That is one idea. If you read Satsanga Samhita, there are also some Kubjika-based Tantra texts. They give you Meru Prastara, a structure where you start putting the value for the phonemes, and then to extract the Malini order. I will just wait. Do not go anywhere, and I'm not running away. I want to bring one book to
Okay.
make you more confused, not to explain, but to make you more confused.
Olha que fofo, eu fiz a pergunta para ele foi buscar um livro. Ele falou, peraí, eu não sei bem, mas eu vou pegar um livro aqui para te mostrar.
Ele falou que são duas
Muito
ideias que ele tem, mas sem
Muito
saber,
bom.
com certeza. Vamos ver como é que vai
Ele
ser.
falou o quê, Danilo? Danilo, o que ele falou?
Não, que ele tem duas ideias, né? Guessworks, ele falou, né? Assim. Aí ele explicou um deles, que seria essa ideia, né? Que ele falou, né? A primeira forma humana de reconhecer os fonemas antes de ordená-los cientificamente. E a outra ideia que ele tem é que está nesse Tantra de Kubjika que ele foi buscar.
Eu estou impressionada, porque eu pensei que Malini ele tem toda a razão, é muito mais antigo do que a sistematização do Panini, né, da sequência que fez o sânscrito. Então, isso é muito anterior, né? Precisa ver que língua era, né, também. Que língua que foi feito o Malini.
So there are texts like Matrika Arnava Tantra, and for each of the phonemes there is a value number for how many elements of the earth and the water and the air and the fire and the ether elements in each of the phonemes. And then this structure gets different into the Shri and Kali Krama. And so the phonetic value, based on the phonetic value, when you arrange in a complex chart, then you derive the elements and the interaction. It's a kind of it looks like you are reading chemistry of the phonemes. Basically, if we have a mechanism, my friends who are scientists have been trying to experiment on me. If when I'm articulating mantras, if there are particular wave patterns, and I think that they had some type of knowledge to tap into those different, they describe in different colors. So, and then, so they were able to tap into different prisms and different colors for each of the phonemes. So these orders are, I am sure there are some type of science, but a lot of it, even for me, I follow the books only. I do not know how the books were made. The science behind the system is still difficult for us to, in a sense, lost. I can see some of that. I can understand some of this in meditation. When I'm in deep meditation, I can see a lot of these things. And when I try to take it out to say in this world or this language, and then as if the whole thing vanishes, and I come outside, I go inside, and it seems like I already know all of these things, and it is revealed. But then when I like to come out and talk about it, that's as if the whole thing is just blocked from this conversation. And I am not going to give this explanation to the public because they are not going to get it. They are not going to get it.
Yes, I got it, Ācarya. Thank you very much. Can you please repeat the name of this book that you brought to us, that you showed us?
This is a book called Sri Vidyarnava Tantra. This is an anthology. It's a collection in itself. In this, I have it in 3 volumes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that if we want to correspond colors to the phonemes or to the mating of the phonemes, it would be like making it slower, all this movement. And when we practice, it's like we are speeding up. So it's all vanished. It's like light, just white light, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. This is how I felt now. Yes. Thank you very much.
Felipe added a comment. He said that one teacher once said to him that Malini's apparent disorder is to show the inseparability of Shiva and Shakti. The subject and the object, word and object distinction are almost complete. So that would be Malini at the level of Madhyama. So just reading out his comment. If you have any say on that.
I have no additional comment on that, because there is not like a, if Malini is itself a primacy of the goddess, when we are, it's like we are trying to justify after the fact. We have already this chaotic order. It's not chaotic though, because we have a systematic visualization, not just systematic visualization, even the order in my own lineage and the popular printed order, like na ri 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 tha cha dai na u ba ka ka ga ga I awa bhaya da dha tha jaya jara ta pasala asa hasa khama sa anta a I o dafa. This is the Malini order. So this Malini order is slightly different from my own Gurukula order. So that even inside that, there are subtle variations, and those variations matter because that variation causes difference in the mantra. So if you go to, learn some mantras with me, the proper Malini order, mantra order from Purva Amnaya will be slightly different from the Malini order in the Kubjika. We have the Malini order, but it's like couple of letters changed. By just changing a few letter order, it changes the mantric structure, the structure of the mantras of the deities in the deities in the Trika, like para, 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 apara. Their mantras are slightly different. And I'm not making these things. These are coming from the earliest of the agamas. So they were not random, I know, but they were before the system, before these books were written. Earliest of the Kubjika Tantras rely on the pre-existing system of Malini. So these phonetic orders were coming down orally, and they were just like we are trying to read the books to understand what is going on. They didn't even have the books. They were relying purely on their gurus and whatever the meditation they could do, their own practices to make sense. The books are already a commentary upon Matrika and Malini. Make sense?
Very, very good. Anybody else would like to make a comment, question? If Gabriel, go ahead, Gabriel.
Hello, Chatterjee.
Hi, Gabriel.
Namaste. Sometimes I look at Matrika structure and I see the relations between the meanings of tattvas relating to the phonemes, and I always wonder of if that structure are the correspondence of the meanings of such a phonemes, or they are also beyond that structure of meaning, and it is just a correlation of doing the nyasas or such a thing.
In Tantra, sometimes when I say this is the meaning, we are just talking about correlation. In big picture, it's just a kind of correlation also. The whole meaning system is also, in a sense, correlation though. But in Tantra, when I say, oh, is the head, I mean, you do installation, this is just a correlation. And then later book, when they start telling you mantra, they say, put a head on your nose and then nose on your toe and then toe on your navel. And then it's meaningless, right? They are talking about the order of different phonemes, how to spell the mantra. So if you read, I don't know where I can find for you, if you read Akathaha Chakra and Kulakula Chakra, you will at least get a structure of the Matrika order, because how these 5 tattvas, 5 elements were primary in organizing these phonemes, and then these are 5 tattvas, in the sense 5 chakras inside the body, with very little role to play for the Ajya chakra in the pronunciation of the phonemes. So Matrika's structure helps us understand a system. But Malini, it is a structure with a lot of gymnastics to explain this is the reason behind this. And I am not going to say that there is no proper structure. Otherwise, even the slightest change would not make such a big difference in practice. So it's a meticulous, even there is a meticulous order, but those orders are guided by phonetic resonance, and when we go deep later times in the practice of certain practices of the chakra systems in Kubjika, and then some of the practices in Kubjika, and then we will get to know more. In the Purva Tantra, because Tantra Sadbhava is also not very elaborate on it, and Siddha Yogeswari, you know that does not go addressing most of these esoteric materials. Seems like a simple Tantra in a sense, giving you little mantras and the practices, uchata, all the in generic Tantra looks like. So most of the esoteric structures are there in some commentarial text upon like Malini, Stavas, and some of the commentarial text there. Some ancient Acharyas have tried to give it, but a lot remains. Still, Tantra is a journey, at least to me, that I decipher, and then at the end I surrender. And if you think that he does not know everything, and I'm okay with that, you run away, fine with me. I don't know everything. Tantra is something I have, like I'll just one more minute, okay? Now, these books are not published. They are not even edited. And so nobody knows about it. Handed down by my family, hundreds of years old. Hundreds of years old. Some books in my collection, 500 years old. Written by great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. Another, for just example, I'm just letting you see. This is slightly less ancient. They look beautiful, look. Awesome. And very carefully written. But the journey of a Pandit is not of a wise man saying, I know everything. The journey, I'm a Pandit, I'm not a guru. I have never claimed to be a guru. You guys call me, that's bad. Because we strive to know all our life and die incomplete. And I don't know about gurus because I never had a guru. I always had, we used to call guru them because nowadays, it is changed. My gurus never claimed they know, they were like me. And I was happy with those type of people who didn't know everything, we were just knowing limited things. So I know limited things. It's a lot of things. 90% of the Tantra texts are not edited. They are in the archive. I was living in ashram, and when it was 1980, I was born in 66. So how many years? And I was one of the guys to get the job to catalog, because in the archive they had stacked, and many of these books are rotting, literally water dripping from the roof. Nobody cares. And some books are stacked together, and then because they are just like water or something, and they are jammed, and then you open it and you tear one page. So my job was, because I learned recognizing old time letters, you know, like ancient scripts. And so they didn't have that many people, so they got me a job. And I was 11th grade then, and I got a job. You know how much money I got? Oh my gosh, I was like a millionaire then. My job was monthly 500 rupees, that is $6. I was earning. The Germans were exploiting to the guts. I was like, they were making, they were hiring 4 or 5 of us, and then the boss was earning $100,000 per year, and then we were earning $6 a month. That is what, less than $100 a year. But that's a different story, okay? But I was very happy. At least I got the job. Can you imagine that? And anyway, but that is a different story. But the main story is, I worked in that job for 5 years or so before I went to Banaras. And I was fortunate to touch with my hand the manuscripts from 7th or 8th century to all the way 19th century. And in that time, I myself alone cataloged about 5,000 Tantra manuscripts. And I'm telling you firsthand, I claim I know Tantra. Another scholar reads one book, claims he knows Tantra. You know, nobody knows Tantra. Do you guys have what you call this, the light bug, you know, the bug with the light in the belly?
Vagalume, we call.
Yeah. And I tell you, look at me, I am shiny, you know, I am better than the sun in the sky. Look, I am like, because in the night, you know, there is no sun. And then these bugs believe that they are the suns, you know. So I'm just like one of those bugs, okay? So don't expect all the knowledge from me. I just am letting you know in advance.
Ācarya, what is the name of those texts that you showed us?
Yeah, this is, these both are on Dhyanamala. Dhyanamala is the in the Sarvamnaya Krama, these are anthology, again, the collection of visualizations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You have time for one little last question?
Sure, I'm not doing anything. I'm just hanging out. I don't want to stress you though. You are supposed to be sleeping.
But I'm getting more
Enjoying.
energized by the talk than by laying down all day like I've been the whole week. So this is doing better for me than otherwise. So you mentioned in your talk in the beginning something I've heard you talk about before, Purva Kaula and Uttara Kaula, this division. And that's not a division I've often come across. I mean, there's 1,000 things that I haven't come across, as you just made clear. But I wonder how would you define them? Because I wonder also if that division has something to do with the type of reading that people like Lakshmidhara does in his commentary on Saundara Lahari, in which he says, he talks about Samaya and Kaula as if somehow opposed in a way, and I don't know.
In the early tantras, they do not name their own practices as a Purva or Uttara Kaula. Based on the Amnaya divisions of the Kali, you find in Purva Tantra generally the Trikas, and then like a Chinchini type text, consider them belonging Purva Amnaya. And then you go to Uttara, then you have this whole Kalikrama system. and then that is also Kaula. And so there is this subtle variation, and also Purva and Uttara Kaula was in ancient time. Purva Kaulas were kind of more acceptable type, not a right hand practice necessarily, but more of their norms were more acceptable in society, but the Uttara Kaulas were Bama Marga. And now, I don't know how long ago, but at least Mahakala Samhita or some of the tantras from that era, 13th, 14th century, we see that a whole lot of Uttara Kaula Bhamachara materials were incorporated within the mainstream Mishra Agamas, meaning the mainstream Shaiva pantheon. So it is again going back to the original of the original Tantra, like, if Odiyana, Ujjain, if that is, I don't know, Swat Valley or Ujjain, if there was really the left practice only and all kinds of things you can fantasize about, and then we shun that we do not make external gestures as important. The original idea was, do not try to make your name, fame, identity as primary. And so these people shunning your own personal identity to the extreme, they were doing all kinds of things. And those days, social norms were different and their socio-economic reality was different. And I think that what you drink, what you eat, what you wear should not be the primary concerns for a Kaula, for us. So that is why integration, I feel the integration in that way. There are these Purva and Uttara. I'm simply saying in the sense of the Trika and the Krama. If I put in non-technical, I mean, that is also another technical word, Trika and Krama. That's still a technical. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ācarya, again. If nobody has any more question, I think we can call it a day.
I need one question from Higo Pino. Higo, how is your practice going on?
Hi, Ācarya. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. I mean, I've been watching you, but I've been fulfilled by your talk, and I have no questions at this stage.
That is okay, but you are you still practicing or not?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm not doing every day, but I have to follow back every day. I have to do every day.
Okay, come on. I'm watching. If you see eyes in the dark, they are my eyes. Okay.
Okay.
He's always watching. That's true, man.
No, I tapped though. You need to give me credit for that. I can tap it.
Thank you, Ācarya.
Okay.
That was good.
I'm watching you.
All right.
All right,
then I'll let you finish it up.
Finally, okay.
No, we have a last Felipe.
Okay, sure. Yeah, Felipe. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a quick question. Once we get into this tradition, what kind? I don't know if you can give us spoilers or something like it, but what kind of practice are we getting in first place? I mean, just a curiosity. Feel free to not answer.
No, it is okay. You know, first to feel many people in Nepal, Bengal, when I say that the practice begins with Durga, and then they think it is not even Tantra because it is so popular there. You know, it's just like if you go to some very esoteric kind of a place, and then you are expecting, and all they are doing reading is Bhagavad Gita, and then you are like, what? I was expecting big mystery. But then even for people like who are big so-called Bengali things, and I give them little glimpse of the complexity it evolves into, and then they get shocked. And so whatever you think you know based on popular books and things, it's not even 10% of what goes into that. And then it is slowly based on personality, based on intensity of practice, and then how much time you can spare also. Sometimes people get very jealous because some people, that is something I will have to slowly keep facing. And, you know, some people will give up practice, some newcomers will go fast. Many of the practitioners are not willing to even come to this type of social conversation. So depending on time and energy, and it's not, there is no other expectation. Like I'm not teaching based on somebody's contribution. I'm teaching based on dedication. That's all how it goes. And what I expect, the last thing is, since we are in this journey, no matter what, we'll make flyers and share this Malini promo video, because it is happening. And because you know about intensive training, we are very meticulous about who can come and who cannot. But in the beginning, for the intellectual learning, philosophy, you know, discourses, it's open to everybody. So try, everybody go to whatever colleges or yoga studios, you know, and share the flyers, make your own. When the date is decided, before that, at least share the YouTube video. You know, that is the least you can do. So you never judge. Just like I do not judge you. I do not know each of your background. Whoever comes, I welcome. The same way, do not judge anybody. Let mothers decide. Whoever is going to come, they will come. And if they are going to stick with us, learn with us, they will learn. Otherwise, they will go. It is their karma. Either our is bad karma or there is bad karma. But whoever comes, we do not have a mechanism, you know, other than word of mouth, like you friends saying, other friends saying. Just there is no harm in letting people know. Don't force, but there is no harm in letting people know. And let everybody take advantage of this. Whatever extent they can take home is good for them. Okay.
Thank you, Ācarya. I just asked it because of I know how complex this practice might be. I've been asked to do 44 days of Mahaganapati, Tarpanas, and Yantra Puja. So just to know.
Yeah, no, but I don't give any crazy demand like that. Mine is like, however, your pace is your call. Speed, I cannot decide that. I have one student in New Zealand. He came to sadhana 6 months ago, and by the blessings of the mother, he's able to spare 4 hours a day. And he has already a job. He works, you know, like a good engineer, makes a lot of money for him. I didn't get a penny from that. I'm just letting you know. But and extra time, you know, whatever extra time, every day 4 hours he's putting. So I can see that he's going to have a tremendous experience and studies, but other people may be getting only 15-20 minutes a day. So it is, I'm teaching everybody, and time changes. Time changes meaning sometimes you learn now and you are in a right place. You are not in a right place right now, but you still learn these things and you strive to be in that right place in your life. A year down, 2 years down, some things happen and things get slightly easier. Either emotional things are going on right now or financial things are going on right now, and you feel it is not the right time for you. But learning is the right time for you, and then taking intensely, you may have to wait a little bit according to your own time frame, because I cannot make the time frame and expect that everybody has that time available. Do you understand me? Yeah. We open the door. Yes. We open the door to everybody, because call path is not a path for male only, female only, Brahmins only, whites only. It is not like that. We open the path for everybody. People come, they see, they like, they try, and something happens to them, rings. They go more deep into it. They will go ahead of me. No jealousy there, because it is whatever you can do is entirely up to you.
Thank you, Ācarya ji.
I think we stop now. Okay, I will sing one more verse and do not ask for explanation. Samvarta mandalante kramapada nihita nanda shakti subhima srishti nyaye chatuskam takulakulagatam panchakam chanya shatikam chatvaraha panchakonyaha punarapi chaturaha षोडशाज्ञा अभिषेकम दिव्याष्टौ मूर्ति मध्ये हस खफर कला बिंदु पुष्पा खमुद्रा मध्ये विश्राम भूमि प्रसरम अनुभवम प्रत्ययम स्वाधिकारम संसृष्टम येन तस्मै नमत गुरुवरम भैरवम श्री कुलेशम संसृष्टम येन तस्मै Namata Guruvaram Bhairavam Sri Kulesham. Thank you so much. Thank you, Danilo. Even when the disease came, you did not give up the discourse. You are Veera.